Something happens on day 2 of a long trip that I've come to expect. The first day is usually filled with departure energy. The last-minute checklist, the unpredictability of city traffic and the tunnels, the iconic New York City skyline fading into the mirrors. But by day 2, that's all gone. The bike feels familiar under me again. The miles start to accumulate. On this day 2, I had 145 miles already behind me by the early afternoon, and I was still looking for more. I'm not just looking forward to a new adventure. By day 2, I'm in it. I'd started that morning in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Clear Ridge Road had been my adventure of the morning. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to it on the end screen. In the early afternoon hours, I picked up US Route 50 in New Creek, West Virginia, and pointed the bike west. What follows was one of those rides that reminded me why I do this. Route 50 is one of those roads that doesn't call attention to itself. There are no interstates feeding into it, no signs telling you it's coming up in a few miles. It's just an ordinary 2-lane road that happens to run from Ocean City, Maryland, all the way to Sacramento, California. 3,000 miles straight across America on a single road number. Today I was only riding about 84 miles of it. And it was a beautiful 84 miles. The ride itself is a combination of sweeping turns and tight twisties, a balance that creates a comforting rhythm. It passes through small towns that are far from the tourist circuits, and climbs with long flowing curves through hardwood forest. In November, the trees are mostly bare, which means you can see the ridgelines and the shape of the landscape that summer usually keeps hidden. This stretch of US 50 moves through a corner of West Virginia and Maryland, where the two state borders look like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. The lines follow the ridges and the rivers. The roads came much, much later. I'd start in West Virginia, cross into Maryland, and then a little while later, I'd be back in West Virginia. About 10 minutes into the ride, I climbed through a small community called Skyline. And there's a pull-off here, the Skyline Overlook, so I stopped. I've noticed something over years of riding. When something is named Skyline, it's usually worth the stop. Skyline Drive in Shenandoah National Park delivers exactly what the name promises. Ridge after ridge as far as you can see. Skyline Drive in Cañon City, Colorado is something else entirely. A narrow road cut into the edges of a mesa, 800 feet above the Arkansas River Valley. I have a video of that ride, and if you look closely, down there in the valley, far below, you can see a road running east to west through the canyon. And that's Route 50, the same road I'm on right now. Now the overlook in Skyline, West Virginia is much more modest than either of those, but it's still worth a stop. Turn after turn, the road kept delivering, and what followed was the kind of riding that doesn't need a lot of narration. So please enjoy this stretch of US Route 50 in silence. And I'll be back in a few minutes. By the time I reached the end of that day, I had covered 253 miles, 7.5 hours in the saddle. And I wasn't tired in the way I expected. I was settled. Tired is depleted. Settled is comfortable. The pace, the rhythm, the way the miles start to feel like a journey rather than exhaustion. Day 2 of a long trip does that, when the road cooperates. And US 50 cooperated. This section of US 50 will probably not be on anyone's bucket list. It doesn't have the name recognition of the more famous roads. But that's what I've come to value about roads like this one. They're out there running their full length from coast to coast, just waiting for whomever shows up. You just have to be moving in the right direction. Until the next ride, be safe, be curious, and keep meandering.